You're watching a production of South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Welcome to Contours, conversations about issues in agriculture that impact us all. Contours is produced by the South Dakota State University College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences and SDSU Extension. These programs are distributed online through igrow.org.
Hello, this is Contours, a discussion about the vital issues and opportunities facing agriculture. It's an open conversation with South Dakota's agricultural leaders and you. I'm Dr. Barry Dunn, president of South Dakota State University and former dean of the College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences here at SDSU. In this edition of Contours, we're going to continue to explore precision agriculture. It's a brave new world, as the last 10 years have seen a rapid evolution in ag technology and its application in production ag. A majority of farmers are using some form of technology and remote sensing data for precision crop management. Today, there's a lot of technology used in precision agriculture. Most farmers use GPS systems for GPS computer-guided equipment. There are other geo-referenced site-specific practices that can include electromagnetic soil mapping, soil sample collection, crop yield data collection, aerial imagery, crop and soil color index maps, soil types, soil characteristics, drainage levels, and potential yields. But what about the future? The Global Agricultural Imperative Report states that in 40 years, agricultural output will have to increase 100%, and that has to happen in spite of the limited availability of land capable of sustaining agriculture. The increased need for fresh water. Currently, agriculture consumes 70% of the world's fresh water supply, and other factors that are difficult to predict, like the impact of climate change, will have on our ability to farm productively. The long-term goal is for agriculture to continue to increase quality and productivity while making production more efficient and sustainable. That will mean evaluating existing and future farming practices by using technologies that are data-centric. It comes down to the term big data and what's being called the Internet of Things. That's a lot to talk about, and we have 4 highly qualified people to help us understand what we have today and what we will need to have in the future. Shane Swedlund is the Facility and Engineering Manager for Raven Industries Applied Technology Division. Dr. David Wright is the head of the SDSU Plant Science Department. Nick Uilk is an instructor in our Ag and Biosystems Engineering Department at SDSU, and Keith Alverson operates a 6th-generation grain farm with his family near Chester, South Dakota. He has a bachelor's degree from agronomy in agronomy from SDSU. Gentlemen, we know what precision ag has done and is doing for producers. What is the potential of precision ag in the future? It's very exciting. It's a little mind-numbing in terms of the words and descriptors of this emerging world of high-tech. We think about high-tech medicine, Keith. We think about high-tech engineering. But here we are in the most important aspect of our society, and that's agriculture. And we're using terms that didn't even exist a few years ago. So it's a pretty exciting time. How is it on the farm?
Incredibly exciting. You know, the amount of information that we have and the capabilities that we have at our fingertips and within our cabs of our tractors and equipment is something that's pretty incredible. And so, you know, when we think about some of the applications that we do across the field level, you know, on such minute amounts, we can apply Our pesticides are measured in ounces per acre, and our fertilizers are in pounds per acre, and sometimes only applying 50 to 100 pounds of an acre of a product, or 4 to 12 ounces. And if you think of an acre as roughly the size of a football field, to have that evenly and accurately distributed across that broad of an area, something that's the size of your perfume bottle or the size of a Coke can, to have that accurately spread across that acre is something that requires technology, and something that requires, real precise management, and the capabilities of some of the equipment that we have out there. And so those things are incredibly exciting. All the data collection that's going on at the farm level, and having people trained to keep the data collection going on, and people trained to analyze and make decisions and make recommendations off the data that we're able to collect is really exciting. And they talk about the pace of knowledge and growth through information, and I just see this accelerating going forward.
David, we talked in our last episode about the many benefits of precision agriculture in terms of increasing productivity, optimizing the application of inputs, and decreasing the footprint of ag on the environment. But there's other benefits too. Talk to us about our agriculture's relationship with the consumer, and how precision agriculture can impact that relationship.
Everything we do in agriculture is about food production. I mean, our corn goes to feed livestock. It's about building protein. And precision agriculture has helped us increase productivity, profitability in an ecosystem-friendly type of manner. I mean, by placing nutrients where they need to be in smaller amounts, we're addressing runoff issues. So water quality, surface and subsurface water quality is all being improved. And so it really is about food production, and everything that we do is addressing that, and anything that we can do in agriculture to reduce the amount of inputs and to improve the sustainability of our very valuable ecosystems builds consumer confidence, because our population of consumers today is very aware of where their food comes from. It's an emotional issue with many people out there today. And anything that we can do to share what we're doing and the benefits of technology certainly helps us build that foundation of consumer confidence that we are going to need to continue to operate in agriculture for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, just by 2050, we have 9+ billion people that we're going to have to feed. South Dakota plays a major role in that.
I think there's some perceptions, maybe some misperceptions about precision agriculture is for big farms, but help us understand, Keith and David, about its role, how it could work on an organic farm, or how it could work on a small farm. Is it scale dependent, or as these technologies emerge, will the costs come down, and will you see application in all sizes?
I see it as broadly applicable. It's just a matter of which technology you want, or prefer on each farm. The guidance technology that's available is very applicable to both organic and conventional farming. And there are other technologies that, as far as, management, data collection, water use, water application through irrigation, things along that line. That are very applicable regardless of what crop you produce, regardless of what type of farming enterprise that you have.
I remember cultivating corn the old way, and I wished I'd had an auto steer in the tractors, because I would look around and the rear end of the tractor would swing, and I would wipe out some crops. So I'm really excited about its broad application, David. I see it not scale dependent, and the technologies are, and its implication, I just think it has more application in scale than what we've been maybe led to believe.
I agree, and the limitations that are in place today are because of our lack of imagination. The technology that's out there today can be used in what is called today small-scale agriculture or urban agriculture. The sensors can be used. When we think about irrigation of food crops produced in small-scale situations, the sensors for moisture availability in the soil, limiting the amount of fungicides or fertilizers, any input in food production on a small scale is the same as large-scale agriculture. So eventually, when the cost of some of those sensors comes down, they will be introduced into small-scale food production. Likewise with drip irrigation. That's precision agriculture at its finest. So,
Shane, you're going to lead us into this brave new world Raven Industries has for 40 years, and we're so proud of the work that you've done here in our home state. So not getting too technical, but help us see the future a little bit about what's coming next. You're, as an engineer, here next to campus with students in your labs, working on new ideas. What's that brave new world going to look like for an 18-year-old who's going to come through SDSU and be farming here in a few years?
It's an exciting area to be in, the agriculture and just precision agriculture in general, and exciting times really to be in it as well. I mean, we've talked about some of the recent things, some of the recent technologies and so on, and as we move forward, we're going to see areas where the word precision for precision agriculture, things are going to be more precise. We're going to be able to control things to a much smaller level. Instead of a single rate across the boom that may not really be controlled across the whole boom, but being able to accurately control that to an individual nozzle level, for instance. I mean, those kinds of things of being able to be more precise with the application across application equipment as well, whether it be planters or sprayers or dry spreaders. We'll see a lot more advancements there. Automation controls. We'll see areas where we've seen the videos and seen about the driverless tractors, and some of those things are being tested. Yeah, those technologies, that's out a ways, but still more automation that can happen on the machines to help be more efficient and more accurate. That's another area. Connectivity. Everybody's really dependent and getting more dependent on those things. So being able to, with telematic solutions and being able to connect different machines from the field to the office, or down the road with machines communicating with each other in an application environment, those are also things that we're going to see some exciting stuff coming down the road.
When we talk about, I think the five of us are pretty used to these topics, but when we talk about a sensor, what would that sensor be sensing? What would it be? What could it be? Plant disease or water usage? What does that mean?
Yeah, and that's an area that there's a lot of development going on with in the sensor world as it relates to agriculture, and it could be trying to monitor the plant health, trying to determine what the plant needs are. It could, sensors related to within the soil with the nutrients and fertilizer and moisture that's required there, or that would help that plant be more efficient, as well as a lot of sensors that are a lot of work that's going on with additional sensors on the machines to be able to help them be able to control those things too.
Yeah, so if the machine going through the fields senses the presence of a disease, it could turn on or turn off a controller that is there to treat the disease.
You bet.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Nick, you're at the, as I mentioned before, an award-winning teacher here on campus. You've got literally hundreds of kids excited about coming to South Dakota State, and we're certainly proud of you. What's next here on campus in our precision ag curriculum, and how we're going to help train Keith's got some young people coming on. What do you see in the future for our curriculum and our students and experiences here on campus?
We've made a lot of advances in our precision ag curriculum that's offered right now. We are hopefully on track. Our next step is to have a precision ag program offered in the fall of 2016. So this coming fall we hope to have a precision ag major online. So a student will be able to graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree in precision agriculture. And we're training students on all aspects of precision ag. So there's lots of students who may be knowledgeable on the agronomy side, lots of students who may be knowledgeable on the machinery or the electronics or the data management, but it's really hard to find a mix that one student understands all of them well. And in today's precision ag world, they have to, because that data comes from the machinery, and the data is analyzed to come up with an agronomic prescription. So they all intertwine with each other, and you need an understanding of all of those to come up with the best solution. So whether it's understanding that sensor that Shane is working on and how it's developed, we have classes that will teach sensor technology, how to utilize them, how to develop them. The electronics, the telematics Shane was talking about, how do we accomplish that? How do we utilize that to improve production? How can that benefit farmers when we get into the return on investment? Is that something that I need to look at for our farm? And whether our student is from you mentioned organic farming. If one student might want to go back to their organic farm, one wants to go back to their large production farm, we can train them on how, hopefully they understand the benefits of it for their specific operation. So a sensor that may go through and identify, this is a weed, I need to eliminate it. This is a corn plant, don't eliminate it. A sensor looking at it, just like we do with our eyes, but on an individual plant. Sensors today, we were talking about the health of a plant. We've all done this. We've driven by a cornfield or a front lawn when it gets dry, and you say, that grass is brown. You just assess the health of it. We can look at different light waves and get much more precise than just our eyeball. We can say, that corn plant's really healthy, the next one is not, but to a much more extreme level than just what our eyes see. We don't see it, the sensors can. So training them on all those sensors, the data management, everybody's mentioned data. We've got all these layers of data. Well, we need to use that data. We need to come up with something applicable that we can use this agronomy, the agronomic prescription of variable rating the fertilizer, the seed. So that's all statistics. We need to combine that with math. And our students will hopefully get a really good education in data analysis and statistics. And then we need to make a map with that. So we could go on and on all the different levels. Every step is really important. And if it's the picture of the water bucket with one low board, and that's your best, we're only as good as our lowest level. We need to be awesome at every level of that precision ag bucket. So,
Keith, from a farmer perspective, if it sounds expensive, technology sounds, I think we're all used to it, and yet the other thing about technology, it moves so fast and the adoption is so fast, the production systems are so fast that really, in some analysis would show you, which is certainly showing us that the technology pays, it actually reduces costs and increases productivity, but that is a big step for people to kind of get to wrap their minds around as they think about the adoption of new technology. It
is. When we look at putting new technology in our equipment or on our farm, I really try and hammer in on the return on investment. What kind of opportunities is this going to create for me being more efficient, growing better yields, being a better environmental steward by adopting this technology, and then what's the offset cost? What does it cost me? But one of the great things that about technology is we've seen, in the whole computer age, is the cost of the technology goes down very rapidly after it's initially developed. As far as an investment or purchase price, computers used to be, very few families had them, and now, I've got more computing power on my iPhone than I had when the computer that I brought to college. You know, it's just incredible how fast that this, you know, the technology has become cost effective. And so, you know, we really try and look at the ROI on those type of investments, whether it be, you know, nutrient efficiency and application, you know, what kind of opportunities will it grant us for increased yields or increased productivity on the farm.
Keith, I've been on farms where the individuals managing dozens of irrigation systems from their iPhone and accurately, and knows exactly when the machine's going on, when it's off. And so one of the, I think, the neat things about it, and maybe Shane, you can talk about it, it's really putting technology and adapting it into our world. So iPads are commonplace on farms right now, in tractors. So it's not always the addition. Some of it's just putting it into our current things that we carry around, like Keith said.
People are definitely more comfortable with those things and have more of the smartphones and tablets, and so as we look forward and systems are developed or to help manage things, being able to have those apps on those devices and kind of comes back to that connectivity of things. That'll be people will continue to get more comfortable with it, hopefully, and I think we'll see a lot of growth there.
David, the other thing we hear about in our leadership roles is certainly some concern about vibrant communities and farms getting larger and some of those assumptions. But it's interesting to me to see actually more jobs and more people going back into communities as tech support, that in really high-tech jobs in small communities across South Dakota. I think that's another maybe unintended positive consequences to this brave new world.
That's absolutely true. Just a handful of our graduates from this semester are going back to the farm, and they're putting those agronomy skills to use in their family operation. Many of our agronomists are going out to the regional ag businesses that are using this technology to help farmers improve their production capability. And so it's exciting that, you know, the students that are leaving are excited about precision agriculture. And, you know, they have the foundational skills today that they're going to need to help everybody, you know, make more money. So we're very proud of that.
You know, I think I've certainly heard a lot about the discussion on aging farmers, and yet I've watched this over many decades now, and I think there's more energy and more excitement in young people about careers in agriculture than in my 40 plus years here at in a relationship with SDSU. Keith, what do you see it from as you visit with your friends around the state? You're widely networked. What's it like in Chester, but also you know, other areas along the Jim River, or even on west into along the Missouri?
Well, we, you know, see exactly what David had described. As we see, you know, young people excited about the possibilities coming back into our communities, you know, across the state, you know, and the potential for this to spread across South Dakota, where there's, you know, the variability that we have and the, you know, the effectiveness of precision technologies to key in on the variabilities that we have within our state soils and climates, and to be able to manage that really on a farm level requires a lot of expertise, and something that, you know, I mean, I'm excited about this precision ag major. You know, I wish that I was at an age that could take advantage of it, because I would have really been into it, because it brings all this together. You know, I went through in my agronomic training, you know, not necessarily having my eyes open to some of the possibilities of application technology and record management. You know, I was just thinking about plants and soils and how those things interact. And now when you bring that all together, it really, you know, can open the eyes of everybody as far as, you know, how we can work together to improve the efficiencies of the system and improve our stewardship and improve our productivity across the state.
Yeah, I think from a community perspective, I guess that's what really excites me. I saw South Dakota go through the 80s farm crisis, and I saw the impact very negatively. And to me, I see a rebirth in small towns like Webster, and it's very exciting for me having that sense of time to see a very different South Dakota than I saw just a few years ago. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of potential out there for precision agriculture. We hope this half hour will lead to more discussion and exploration of the vast potential precision agriculture has to make agriculture even more dynamic in the coming decades. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website, igrow.org, and click on the agronomy section. I'd like to thank our guests today for providing insight, information, and inspiration. Shane Swedlund, Dr. David Wright, Nick Uilk, and Keith Alverson. This is all the time we have for this edition of Contours and our discussion about the future of precision agriculture. I'm Dr. Barry Dunn. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again for the next edition of Contours.
Contours is a conversation about issues in agriculture that impact us all. These programs are produced by the South Dakota State University College of Agriculture and Biological Sciences and SDSU Extension. You can watch these programs on your local South Dakota Public Broadcasting station or by going online to igrow.org.